clean old-fashioned hate happening on Black Friday. Are you ready for this, Israel?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Happy Thursday evening. Welcome to summer for all you educators out there. Welcome to the summer. It is the Believe in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Believe Network. We are live on a Thursday night, so hopefully you guys can join us wherever you're joining us from. Thank you for joining us. Joining me is Israel Troop, and we are presented by betonline.ag. It is the number one source for the NBA and NHL playoffs this season. The NBA being anticlimactic, the NHL not. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds while the games are being played. So when the game is over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. I'm a blackjack guy myself. So head to the website today, get in on the action. Don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, it's where the game, or actually, BetOnline, the game starts here. They've changed it up on me a little bit, Israel. What's up, dude?
Nice little curveball there.
I know.
It's good, man. Good. I'm finally sitting up, sitting in a chair, not on the ground. Finally moved in. You know, see the. You know, me and my wife are smart, so we got diplomas and stuff on the wall.
There you go.
So, got one more.
I'm not. I got Macho Man on the wall. I got Macho Man.
Yeah, we got one more to add, and that'll be it for the Troop household.
No doctorate.
No,
either. No Dr. Troop.
Mm-mm.
You have to wear a monocle when you get your doctorate. You know that, right? It's a requirement.
If I become a doctor of anything, then it's gonna be a bad day for everybody. It's gonna be a bad day.
You're just gonna walk around, slap your diploma on the table everywhere you go, and say, "Yeah, that's me. I'm Dr. Troop."
Dude, I'm running the school like Morgan Freeman. Don't lean on me. You better believe it. Chain the doors.
Don't let them out. Don't let them in. Don't let them out. Yeah, it's gonna be. You're gonna come over the loudspeaker. You're just going to yell, "This is Dr. Troop. If you're not in class, get your, you know the rest."
Mm-hmm. You can finish the sentence.
We'll let you finish the sentence. But yeah, when the topics are dry, there's not a ton to talk about, but there's a good bit. SEC spring meetings, summer meetings down in Destin. They're talking about some rule changes there. One of the changes is scheduling wise. Clean old-fashioned hate is going to move to Black Friday. I kind of like that. Maybe.
I like it I liked it for about 30 seconds. Then I realized that Friday is also the third round of the GHSA playoffs. So
and you plan to be
yeah, we play right at 7:30 when the game's on. So it's going to be real interesting to see who's going to be where and doing things like that, But in South Georgia, I think we'll be fine. But the North Georgia schools during that time are going to be, a little bit upset about that one. But I like it on Friday. I think you got the Egg Bowl, which is played on Friday as well.
No, Egg Bowl's been on Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, that's right. Are they still on Thanksgiving Day, or are they on Friday too?
No, they're Thanksgiving.
Still Thanksgiving. And then there was another game at like 12:30 I saw that somebody's playing on that Friday as well. I can't remember who it was, but I think I like it. I think I like the Friday. Go ahead and get it over with. Athens is going to be rocking per usual. So, and I think it'll be a lot better game this year. I think Georgia Tech's going to be a lot better. So it'll be an interesting game for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's I think it's usually LSU and Arkansas is usually that game.
That's the other one I was thinking about.
It's usually that one.
But it wasn't in there was another game, like a mid-major game, I think. Something.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'll look it up. Stand by. So yeah, it's actually. Oh, here we go. Here's the article. Egg Bowl is also Black Friday now. You were right. And the Red River rivalry, the Red River Shootout, is also on Black Friday.
Ooh, oh wow! So they're getting all the rivalry games on out of the way, huh?
And then Colorado State, I think, is going to it. Let's see. Penn State at West Virginia. Arkansas at Oklahoma State. No, that's on August 31st. So yeah, interesting games there. So yeah.
Yeah. I heard I think it was the Oklahoma AD or something like that talking about the Red River Shootout's better than the world's biggest cocktail party. And that guy, although the Red River Shootout is very, very popular, it looks like it'd be a great time, but he obviously has not been in Jacksonville for the biggest cocktail party ever.
Yeah.
So there's
It's not. Let's see. Well, no, hold on. Did I read this wrong? Actually, no. The Red River Shootout will be on the same day. Just moves back to 3:30 instead of noon. There you go. Never mind. It is not on Black Friday. And also these Black Friday games have to compete with the NFL and Georgia Tech's competing with the GHSA playoffs. So, which you plan to be there.
Yep, I plan on being there. I plan on playing that Friday night at 7:30. Well, 8 o'clock. I plan on being at home.
You're gonna have to DVR the game then, I guess, or on the defensive series, just have your phone out.
Yeah, not to look in between plays. Go, all right, guys, we're good. Both the dogs are winning at this particular moment in time.
Yeah, there you go. You just put just go all out. Just tell your head coach, hey, we got to put a TV on the sideline. This Georgia game is very important.
Yeah.
So like between
we got
series,
we got to pause huddle. Yeah, we got to pause huddle right now. I got to look at these plays in between. So
yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean it's in years past it wouldn't be a big deal. You just watch like the first quarter and a half, and you pretty much got the game viewed. But after last year's game, it's going to be interesting now. Old Buster Faulkner made it interesting.
Absolutely. Like I said, obviously both teams will be improved. Actually, we had a lot of our Thomasville dogs up there at Georgia Tech today at the camp. So, I'm not a fan of Georgia Tech by any means, but I do like to see our athletes go there, earn education, play football if that's what they decide to do. So I'll never be upset about that. But I like it. I like it on Friday. Like I said, go ahead and get it out the way, get ready for the SEC championship game, which we plan on being in the following week. So, it works out. You get an extra day of planning, day of recovery. So it's going to be a tough game too. So you get a nice tune-up before the SEC championship game, whoever we play against that following Saturday.
I'm starting to think Ole Miss might be a little rematch with Ole Miss in that game.
I'm thinking so. Looking at everything that Lane Kiffin's done, looking at all the teams that are in, I think LSU is going to be a team to beat as well. I still think of it as the West. So we all know Oklahoma's much improved on defense. So
they're returning a lot of people.
And the Western side, Brent Venables was not going to let that happen. A defensive guru that he is was not going to let that defense look at that, much longer. So, looking at all the teams, I think it's us, obviously. Ole Miss is a very, very close second. So that game is going to be really, really big for us, especially having to go over there and play them. Then you bring in Oklahoma and Texas. got to put Texas up there too, and LSU. I think those are the top 5 teams coming out of the SEC right now, off the top of my head. Everything can change as we're going on. Hell, Vandy could, eventually come out and shock the world too. But those are the top 5 off the top of my head right now that I think have the best shot of playing the SEC championship game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I think you're right. And it'll be an interesting year with no divisions. That'll be I know that'll take a lot of getting used to for me.
I like it. I think
I love
kind of like the Pac-12. You just take top 2 teams. I know they still have their certain divisions. Well, they did before they just all got disbanded. But you just take top 2 teams, and here we go. It was a rematch between Oregon and Washington this year. So it could very easily be a rematch between Georgia and Ole Miss, very, very easily, depending on the winner of that football game.
Yeah, I think so too. And I mean, Ole Miss is loaded for bear. I mean, we talked about them, and my guy Stephen Willis at Locked On Ole Miss has covered every possible story, every possible possibility, everything about that program. And Lane Kiffin, dude, is doing a phenomenal job recruiting, NIL, transfer portal, probably more so in the portal than recruiting, but it's impressive what he's doing over there.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to think, what coaches do you play for if you came to the SEC? And those 2 would be, without even thinking about it, Kirby Smart or Lane Kiffin. You got the authoritarian, and Kirby Smart, what you're going to get, what kind of guy he is. And then you got the fun and the punny, pun intended with that, with Lane Kiffin. So, I mean, those are 2 coaches who, have taken programs who people would consider that were down whenever they took it over, and have done a phenomenal job of bringing, excitement back. You're going to get the outspoken Lane Kiffin, and that's going to happen with his funny one-liners and things like that. But he's a player's coach at the same time. He expects a lot of him, and he's a great offensive mind. So then you got Kirby Smart, who we all know, how that program is being ran now from year 1 to year 2, from him taking over the program. So the expectations are high for both. So I would expect nothing less than both of us going into this game undefeated, kind of similar to last year, and to see who outlasts the other one. Because it's going to be blood for blood, that's for sure. Jackson Dart is the man. He's a really, really phenomenal player. And the amount of guys that they got from the transfer portal, I mean, Ole Miss is loaded. So it's going to be a fun game down there in the Grove, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's never easy to win there either. The last time we visited, I think Kirby Smart has got that written in his marble notebook of it was like 45-0 at one point in his first year when they played at Ole Miss. I mean, it was just they beat us like a drum from the opening snap. We never had a shot. And I think Kirby remembers that. And he's gonna make sure he gets it back, or he's gonna try to at least. But yeah, that game, both teams will be undefeated. I think headed into that game, and I think will be undefeated after that game. Even the one that takes the loss will be undefeated the rest of the way. And I think you'll get, I think that right now, as it stands, now as it plays out on the field, it could play out differently because you have Texas in the mix, Alabama is still good, but we just don't know. We just don't know with Kalen DeBoer yet and how it's all going to play out on the field. But right now, your 2 best teams coming into the season, Ole Miss and Georgia.
Yeah, I know that. There is no doubt about that. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited to hear, that Carson Beck's got some of the guys down in Jacksonville. Denny, trained some of our quarterbacks when I was at Ware County. He trained 2 of our guys that went down there. He actually trained my quarterback here when I was at Valdosta as well. So Denny does a great job. People just don't understand that chemistry between the receiver, and the quarterback's really, really huge. So you got to think we're losing Lad McConkey. You're losing Vlad. You're losing Roseby Jack Saint. So those are guys that Carson Beck trusted. Those are guys who, he knew I can get the ball to them at any point, throughout the progression of the offense, So, building that trust right now is early. I mean, it's May. I don't think they report till, I think, the first week of June, second week of June, something like that. So building that relationship right now is really, really huge. That chemistry is you just don't understand how big chemistry goes between the quarterback and the receiver.
Yeah, and all those guys went down there because like that's a very optional thing, but I guess they figured, hey, if I'm going to get targets from Carson Beck, I better go.
Mm-hmm.
And
without doubt, we should throw with Matt and Joe and Aaron and them all the time during the summer. Especially, I stayed up in May, so whichever quarterback stayed, I kind of threw with them. Aaron would always like Orson and all those guys would go down to Tampa and throw with Aaron. Matt would throw out in Texas, and Joe usually stayed during May, so me and Joe would throw, whenever he was in town. So, I mean, that's been just building that camaraderie between, players. It's just one of those things that you can't really explain, but it's really, really huge with the chemistry of your football team, especially when you're dealing with a bunch of new guys coming in.
So what does that session look like when do the quarterbacks have a script with that? Or are they just kind of directing you, or is it just kind of, hey, I want to work on this route. Can you throw me a few of these? And when you got guys together, are they working on different concepts and all that stuff? How structured is it usually?
Well, usually it's really, really structured. At the beginning, you're just working certain routes. You work your curl and your post and your go balls. Just trying to get time and stuff down. I can remember Matt would always have a script that he wanted, a couple of plays that he wanted to run against our defense, because we kind of did a little 7-on-7 with ourselves, because obviously coaches can't be out there. So, whatever the quarterback, whatever he was struggling with, or some concept that he wanted to see during that time, is usually how we did it. And it was fun. It wasn't a very stressful time. It was a lot of trash talking here and there, but it wasn't anything like once you get to fall. It's more so. This is more so, like I said, to build chemistry, to build the confidence between you and the quarterback, and to work on timing.
Yeah, I mean that's important, and for them to be able to get all that timing down, and for them
getting it down, yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited, man. Looks like he's got him going. The hype videos coming out of there, just everything just looks smooth, and it's good. And we haven't seen a whole lot of those type videos coming out, and the type of attention and media and whatever coming out of Georgia, the way it has been this last year with Carson Beck. Like we've never. I'm sure they've worked out places with Carson Beck, with Stetson Bennett, with the quarterbacks before. I'm sure this is standard operating procedure, but we've never really seen it until now, and it's never really been publicized until now. And I think that's part of Carson Beck understanding NIL. Hey, it's marketing, right? And marketing for he's obviously in the Heisman race, so that's that's all part of that. And if he can get some good shots of him, just and he throws such a nice ball. And
absolutely, it just shows you the focus that he has. We left on the table last year. We all know, everybody knows that. There's no doubt in my mind if we're playing for that national championship that we beat Michigan. So it's just one of those deals to where when you look at the grand scheme of it, unfinished business. This is the season of unfinished business. Get 3 out of 4. You know what I mean? And what better way to
get
follow
that Patriots dynasty?
Exactly. The blueprint's been set. Stetson came in at quarterback 1-2 back-to-back. Boom. You come in and you can win one on. Because you're obviously the front runner here. You're the guy, and it just shows you the confidence that Georgia has in him as well. To know that, hey, this guy's going home, but look, he's got 6-7 guys, from this team down there with it. And at the same time, because we got the biggest rivalry in history between the Athens-Clarke County Police and the football team, that these guys are not going to get in trouble because they're in Jacksonville with him. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
that's about 10 guys for sure that that aren't going to get in trouble. Yeah. The APD can't see them at all. So.
Report: Ra Thomas gets arrested for pulling out of a parking spot while buckling up.
Yeah, I mean it's
his bond is set.
I don't understand this. You know what I mean? It's a kid.
It's on now. The hat's
Oh,
backwards.
this was so bad, especially when there's no illegal activity going on. The kid made a wrong turn. Why don't you say, hey, back up and go back that way and give the kid directions? He just got there, but we're going to arrest the kid. Have his name plastered all. And it's one thing about Georgia. And, I got friends that went to Auburn, Florida, and all that stuff. You never see situations like this in the paper, ever. But anytime something happens at Georgia, it's going to be posted.
Because in Auburn, you're probably at worst getting a ticket.
At worst.
Getting a citation.
And his offense was not even ticket worthy.
No. It's not like he was.
He complied. He did whatever you asked him to do. He just went the wrong way down the road. And it's really, really easy to do. Especially now since I don't know if you've been down there or not, but it looks totally different in Athens right now. It is ridiculous. It looks really, really good. And they pumped some money to the university. I mean, it's beautiful. But at the same time, I mean, it's really the roads that you and I would have went down when we were there are like one ways now, just because of everything they've built.
Yeah.
In Athens right now.
I know I would have gone down. I know I have turned on, even before they've built all this stuff. I've turned down College the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
I've turned down Clayton the wrong way. I've turned down Washington Street the wrong way. I've gone the wrong way on some of these roads.
Yeah, I've gone the wrong way on the bridge in front of the bookstore. When you on my scooter, of all things. But I was lucky I was able to turn around. But it's like, I'm going the wrong way. But if it's at night, you don't realize it. Just tell the young man, hey, this is one way, big dog. You're going the wrong way.
Yeah, you're freshman. So next time, go this way instead of that way. And be careful.
It's just that.
See you later. Like, nowhere is there going to be outrage and body cam footage released and you drug through the mud if you just tell the kid turn right instead of left and you let him off. Like, there's not going to be any outrage. You're not going to get fired. It's not getting, it's not one of those.
What did you get out of the situation?
Yeah.
Other than looking like a dumbass.
Yeah, I mean,
you didn't help the kid who was lost. Obviously, whatever he was going to do, doesn't really matter. But you didn't help him get to where he was supposed to be.
Yeah, just turn him around. Where do you go? Like, it'd be one thing if he was like driving at racing speed and like tore into this turn, was speeding down the road the wrong way, recklessly. Like, I could understand you taking some action on that. But there's other charges that come into play at that point. This was he had $200 bond, which means he bonds out for $26.
Yeah.
I mean, you pulled out of your yeah.
Wasn't worth the ink, wasn't worth the paperwork, wasn't worth anything.
Yeah. It's one citation and that's it. If that, like, it's not even worth a ticket, to be honest with you. It's not even worth a citation.
Yeah.
It's not. And it's frustrating because now it's like, oh, here we go. The endless loop of like Georgia driving violations jokes that you get and the public shaming that he got, Scovey White, and all that stuff. And it's like, dude, just, we have
say this stuff. I'm so proud of Dog Nation because once it came out, what the bond was and what actually happened, people were pissed. And they were like, what are we doing? Because at first, I'm not going to lie, when I read, I was like, dang, guys, not again. Because we say it all the time. I know I do after every show. Guys, please stay out of trouble. This is the time that it normally happens. Please stay out of trouble. So when I saw it, I was like, not again. And then keep reading because reading is very, very fundamental. And read the whole article and you're like, they did what? For what? God.
And there's more. Like I kept reading, going, surely there's more.
There's got to be more.
There's got to be
more to this.
what do we do? What the hell are we doing here, man? Like, this is terrible. It's like that Scotty Scheffler case. It got, the charge got dropped in that.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw the video. Like somebody missed the memo. And here's the thing: how do you not? Whether you my father-in-law, who he's an outdoor guy, he doesn't really watch sports. He's starting to watch it now just because Tatum's playing, my little boy, but he knows who Scotty Scheffler is.
Yeah, how do you not approach that going?
Who that guy is?
Well, did the courtesy car should have given it away that he was probably somebody playing in the tournament. Secondly, Scotty Scheffler has a series on Netflix, so even if you don't follow golf closely, it's a well watched docuseries called Full Swing.
If you watch TV or you're on the internet, you know who Scotty Scheffler is.
If you're on the internet, because his wife was bursting at the seams pregnant while he was winning the Masters.
Yes, and that was everywhere.
Yeah. Everybody knows who Scotty Scheffler is. My wife knows who Scotty Scheffler is, and she doesn't care an ounce about golf. She barely cares about football. And she knows who Scotty Scheffler is.
Yeah, that's like Tiger. I mean, Tiger had his faults, but you know who Tiger Woods is. Like, you know who Tiger Woods is.
Yeah.
You know who Scottish. You know who Rory McIlroy is. You know, there are a couple of people like Brian Herman. You might not know who that guy is unless you watch golf, but you know who number one golfer in the world, not just this particular, in the world, is.
And he's not an anonymous guy. Like the number one player in the world has been Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, and Scotty Scheffler for like the majority of like this century.
Mm-hmm.
And
without a doubt.
And then I think there was a couple of random guys sprinkled in there, but everybody knows who Dustin Johnson is. I think he was number one at one point. He's dating Wayne. He was dating and then eventually married Wayne Gretzky's daughter.
Brooks Koepka, you know who that is.
We know who Brooks Koepka is, for better or for worse. So
people even know who Patrick Reed is.
Unfortunately, yes, he's a scumbag. But
How
somebody got him to autograph. Go ahead.
Do what now?
I was saying somebody got him to autograph a PGA rules book.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
It's pretty funny.
Gotta love fans, man. Gotta love fans. But yeah, man, you just gotta just help us, and that's like I'm gonna say it again, guys. For some reason, I don't know what happened. It was before you and I, before our time. Something happened, and that particular agency does not like the football team. So, guys, please don't give them a reason to do anything to shed negative light on what we're about to do this football season.
Yeah, I mean, these are what has that kid done? Like that kid's done absolutely nothing to warrant that. And that's the kid you bust. Like that kid was probably yes-sirring and scared out of his mind.
Yeah. You gonna mess with that guy? Come on, man.
Yeah. So whatever, man.
Guys, just you know how it is, man. Just stay out of trouble, man.
Yeah.
Stay out of trouble.
So let me ask you this too. Because I saw this, and I don't know if SEC Network Plus is going to air these for every school in the SEC, but they released, they did one for Vandy, and it was like a all access spring thing, all access spring practice. I imagine there's one going to come out for every school on SEC Network Plus, but like how like those normal ones are like it's at the SEC Inside series where it's just kind of like very generic and basic and vanilla. Like you have like coach speak and like, they show a little bit of personality, but they don't really show you much of anything. This one was way different. Like noticeably different. Like, and I hope if they do this for the other schools, I hope it is the same caliber as what they did for Vandy. It was like, it was so much more candid. It was, these coaches and players were speaking very frankly. Like they showed a good bit of practice film where you're like, man, like they showed you way more than they probably normally would have in a documentary. And it was the same length. It was a 30-minute show.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed you more. They talked about, they actually said things that you wouldn't normally hear them say. And there was a lot of like candid truth that was being spoken more so than just regular coach speak and like, players being trained by PR professionals in the offices upstairs to say what you need to say. Like it was very like I enjoyed it. It was very refreshing. And you got a glimpse of like just how confident this Vandy bunch is, and that's not necessarily the point of why I'm bringing it up here. But like, why do you think that is now? Why do you think the sudden change? I thought that was interesting, and I can't wait if that one for Vandy was like that. I can't wait to see what Georgia's is like. There's gonna be a lot of bleeps probably, but
most definitely a lot of bleeps. But you got to think of the world that we live in today. People get bored. You know what I mean? So the candid, oh, this is how we do things. This is the cafeteria. This is our quote unquote star player. This is how. No, people don't want to hear that. People want the truth. You know what I mean? People want the real. Why do people want the real? Because they want to talk about it. People want to talk. Hey, you got to give people clickbait. You got to give people something. To keep them going. You know what I mean? So, if you go in and try to edit a bunch of stuff and it doesn't seem real, people aren't gonna watch it. It's just like reality TV now. You know what I mean? How many people are really watching reality TV? Not very many people. Why?
Because it's not real.
Scripted. Yeah, it's not real.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I think they're taking a step out of like Hard Knocks. You know what I mean? So when you're watching Hard Knocks, that's the real of the real. You know what I mean? You got microphones.
Even that got scripted too.
So, but I hope Hard Knocks gets back to what it used to be.
What they're doing now? They're they've done the training camp version. They do the in-season version now, and now they're doing an off-season version.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing it with the Giants, where it's from January up until July.
Ooh, that's kind of scary.
So we'll see what that's like. But they're trying. I mean, they're trying. They're trying to. And the one of my favorite Hard Knocks was the Lions.
Yeah. You got to see Coach Campbell. You got to see how he acts, how he interacts. The running back who was the weird running back. I love him to death. I mean, you got to see how he is. He loves anime. So when you start getting people the real, people start to. How many people literally sit down and be like, "Hey, I can't wait to watch Hard Knocks now." You know what I mean? So just because they're ready to see, get to know those players, from an outside view. And I think that's what, this SEC thing's going for. You know what I mean? Because who's really going to watch Vandy? Nobody. But if you show them in this light, people are going to be intrigued to see why, because it looks entertaining.
And Jerry Kill needs to be the head coach, by the way.
Yeah, we look like this looks very entertaining. I kind of want to see what Vandy's like this year.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be pretty sporty. And based on this, they're going to have a lot of swagger, which they haven't had much of lately.
And just think, how many people go to Vandy? What's really, really fun to do in Vandy? Nothing. If you just around the campus, So now you see this, and you're like, ooh, okay, all right. This looks like it could be
new stadium. New stadium's coming. They're renovating big time.
Mm-hmm. Baseball's in the playoffs, so now you add this with the excitement of baseball. I think they're hosting. Are they hosting? No, they're
not hosting. They're going to Clemson.
Yeah, but the excitement around baseball. So I mean, it's
basketball at Vandy has gotten. They've done phenomenal things in the portal.
Mm-hmm. So that's what you start to get when you start showing, real stuff. You know what I mean? And not just this watered down, like, oh, hey guys, welcome to the cafeteria. We got Susan here making spaghetti for us. Nobody don't watch that. It would just show how lame Vandy is anyway.
Yeah.
Not saying that they're lame, but at the same time,
it would show it would put them in a very lame light.
Yeah.
When now you've got a receiver and a corner going at each other.
Mhm.
Like they're going at each other.
Yeah.
And like the receiver's like you see receiver Quincy Skinner, he's like, he's going at the corner, and then he's also like, hey, throw me this ball. Hey, I want to go up and get this. I want to get a red zone fade. I'm gonna go get one. Like you see them, they don't edit that out.
Yeah. Because on Saturdays you would think that it was a Pee Wee League play.
Yeah, no. It's but they're going to be a much different team. They've actually got they're actually going to have something called identity on offense and defense that they haven't had.
I think that the AV and the people of Vandy are starting to realize that, hey, if we can get back to the Jay Cutler days, at least, we can actually do something. Yeah, and that's just from when I remember watching Vandy.
Yeah, if we participated in NIL, we could be pretty good. And they've done well in the transfer portal, and they're starting to put things out there. They're starting to be like, well, who is this like Vandy team? Like, who is this? We don't know them.
Yeah. And you're in the rock and roll capital of the world in Nashville. So I mean,
country music capital.
My bad. Country music capital.
Don't you get that wrong up here. They will get you. Pitchforks and torches, and the mobs are coming to get you now because you called it the rock and roll capital, not the country music capital.
Country music.
They're going to throw chairs off balconies at you.
Yeah, let's not say we did.
Like Morgan Wallen style, but it's good, man. I hope they do that for every program, and I hope their editor has the bleep ready for Kirby Smart.
Absolutely,
he's gonna need it. I'm interested, like programs that I'm interested in seeing, like a Hard Knocks style documentary on. I would love to see Kalen DeBoer at Alabama. I would love to see Eli Drinkwitz.
Oh, that would be good.
Sam Pittman. See what he's doing up there. They're going to have a pretty good team in Arkansas. Lane Kiffin obviously would be number one viewing.
Absolutely.
Him and Kirby obviously be number one viewing. But outside of the two obvious ones, those are the ones I would want to see. And of course, I want to see if like Vandy would do that more than just one episode.
If I had to go, I would go obviously Ole Miss and Georgia. Clearly, I would go South Carolina because Shane Beamer is a character.
They're going to be bad though.
They're not going. My doctor played quarterback at South Carolina. He's not thrilled at all about this season.
They're not going to be good.
My wild card would be Kentucky. So I bet Coach Stoops has got some one-liners for you now. You can't tell me as many facial expressions as he makes.
He's a Stoops. He's a Stoops. Like we know, like Bob Stoops is in television, so I think Florida would be awful. I think
they got a lot going on right now.
I think Tennessee would be. I don't think they'd be awful, but they'll be. Yeah, you wouldn't really miss much by not watching them. I think Heupel is just kind of boring. Mississippi State would be paint drying. A&M I think would be interesting with Elko.
Texas would be a good one. What Sark?
Texas would be good. I think Auburn would suck.
Oklahoma would be good because I just saw Brent Venables doing linebacker drills on Twitter the other day, and he can move. So
he still got it.
He still got it.
There you go. Now I would love to see Oregon. That's not an SEC team, obviously, but I would love to see Oregon in one of those Hard Knocks style documentaries.
That would be good.
That would be a lot of fun. And if you've made it 39 minutes into our show, tell us who you would like to see Hard Knock style. And if you're watching a Georgia show and you say, Georgia, that one's obvious, who would you like to see in a Hard Knock style show outside of Georgia? Drop it in the comments. If you're watching live, drop it in the comments now. If you're not, if you're watching this later on, drop in the comments. I'd be interested to see what you have to say. So, yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I just thought that was interesting in seeing just kind of how that unfolded for Vandy because, Clark Lee is like the most conservative guy out there and he's kind of a cyborg. Mm-hmm. And he just kind of opened up a little bit.
Like it. I knew there was personality under that head, man. I
Yeah.
knew it.
I think Jerry Kill brought it out in him.
That's good.
That was probably his best hire, Jerry Kill. They're gonna be good, dude. They're gonna be sporty.
I think so.
They're gonna be sporty. Billy Napier, not so much. Well, it's gonna be a rough go down in Florida.
My man struggling right now, and I love Billy. I remember he was a recruiter, meeting with him and talking to him. So
he's just in over his head at Florida.
I hope, it was just so bad when he took over. It was just one of those. It's one of those when Urban Meyer took over Florida when they were so bad. And Urban had to come in and literally revamp the whole thing. It's literally like that, but
Billy's just in over his head. Poor guy.
Yeah, his personality does not fit what Florida needs, right now. You know what I mean? And with the transfer portal, NIL type stuff too, trying to fight that battle as well. It's like,
well, they're not participating. They're like the Clemson of our league. They're not participating.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
They're pathetic when it comes to NIL. Yeah. And they're not getting. Guys are leaving, and guys won't come there. They could be amazing if they just say, "We're going to participate in NIL," because they could. Because I don't know if you've heard of this thing that came out of the University of Florida, but it's called Gatorade. It's a sports drink that they invented. They have endless supply of money from Gatorade.
You're sponsored by Jordan with your apparel. Gatorade's down there. And whoever was paying the Pouncey twins and Cam Newton and Percy Harvin, Chris Rainey, Brandon Spikes, Aaron Hernandez, all those guys who was paying those guys, you should probably go talk to them and be like, hey, I need y'all to come back and help a brother out.
Yeah. But they probably won't help out Napier. Napier would be great for a group of 5 program. I think he'd be phenomenal at like Georgia Southern. And that's not a knock on him. I just think that's where he fits. Georgia State, Kennesaw State, somewhere in the G5 realm. Kennesaw State's going to FBS, I think, next year, by the way.
Oh, they are. Yep, they are.
And I think, what do you think of all this House versus NCAA settlement stuff?
Look, I need them to go back a couple more years. This whole 2016 is just not working for me. I need y'all to go on back a couple more years. Because, one, somebody's got to pay for A.J. Green missing 4 games because he signed his jersey. Somebody's got to pay, for Todd Gurley missing those games for signing his own apparel that he has in his possession. Somebody's got to pay for that. So I think y'all need to go on back and revamp this whole thing because this is not good. I'm glad that they're finally taking ownership of their screw up. You're making billions of dollars off people. I tell you what, you just go back to when you took Reggie Bush's Heisman from him.
They gave it back.
Yeah, go back to when you took it from him, and then I'll be happy.
Yeah, he did get it back eventually, but just go back and keep make that right, which they sort of did. But yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think it's good that they're paying some stuff and they're actually backdating some much deserved stuff. I think they just need to go further back. But
I think it's just think about how much money NCAA's made, off of us, just from ticket sales to apparel sales to everything that the NCAA puts that little sticker on whenever you buy things. Just think about how much money that they've made off of college athletes, whatever, regardless of the sport. And now with NIL, which is why here's the kicker. And I said this in our meeting the other day before we got out, is that's why they're not monitoring NIL, is because they're really making up for what they've taken. That's why they won't have a say-so in what happens with NIL.
Yeah. Although I think there does need to be a little bit of regulation to it. But
There's no
what,
doubt.
what
But
that is, I don't know. But like, there needs to be a little bit of harness put on it just to kind of control it a little bit, just to kind of like make it where
especially
it's
when it comes to tampering and you reaching
Mhm.
out to kids who are still with programs in the middle of your program, definitely. But that's why the NCAA has said nothing about NIL. That is why.
it's like that makeup call,
Mhm.
on a much larger scale, obviously, but like you miss a hold later on in the game, there's going to be an egregious one that they call or
Mhm.
that they don't call or they make up for it.
There it is.
It's
And
like
this lawsuit right now is the makeup call for that.
yeah,
And now that the NCAA is about to pay this money, you might see some changes in the NIL because they got to make that money back one way or another.
yeah. So they'll regulate it. They'll get some things in order, and it'll all just kind of work itself out. And so
Cause and effect.
yeah,
Cause and effect.
and I think you're going to see there's going to be donors that pay just re basically refund. Um, some of these smaller programs, they're going to have to get rid of sports. That's probably one of the negative effects to it. To kind of make up for this lost revenue, like they can't fund swimming and diving, track and field, soccer. There's going to be some universities that can't fund that stuff.
Man, look, the NCAA's got revenue out the butthole. So y'all better figure it out.
Figure out how to keep these sports alive. Yeah, because like I'll be damned if like Georgia's women's tennis team or Georgia's tennis program altogether folds because of this. I don't think they will, but theoretically, if they did,
Our swim
um,
program's nationally ranked. I mean, for
tennis is
tennis.
always top in the country. Softball, like just think if all that evaporated.
Yeah, no, not gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean,
Can't
it
happen.
won't happen. It won't happen, but they would have to find a way to do that. So yeah, I think that's a good thing. What else did we miss in our end of the school year madness? What else did we miss? We missed the roster limits. They're not going to put scholarship limits, but they say unlimited scholarship, but you have to cap your roster at a certain number. Like they're going to do that. Like I don't know what that changes, but like they it might it's basically like a death blow to walk-ons that
Yeah.
they're
Oh, yeah. I saw
that they're
that the
trying
other
to
day.
push through. Have you guys kicked that around in your meetings, in your coaches meetings and stuff?
No, that was kind of fairly new, so I haven't really looked into it. I just kind of saw an article on it the other day. But I mean, if you're taking away walk-ons, you got to think walk-ons are a big key, big piece of what all colleges do. From your scout team to guys who, you know, I mean, think about the running back from Missouri. He was a walk-on. Ended up being a scholarship player and ended up being one of the top rushers in the SEC. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when you take
Sure.
things like that away, that just shows that somebody at the top's got to make some hard decisions. Okay. We got the 12-team playoff now, which is great, which I think they should have done a long time ago.
Yeah.
Um,
That's long
and
ago.
somebody's gonna be mad. And like Nick Saban said all the time, if you want to make everybody happy, you should sell ice cream.
Mhm.
Somebody's got to put the big underwear on and say, hey, this is how it's gonna be. This is what we're gonna do, and this is how we're gonna go about it. And I think everything will be fine after that. But it's all about money, and little people like us suffer. In the
Yeah.
meantime, so there's that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think obviously it is what it is, but like that's not much is going to change. I think you're still going to have, you know, walk-ons that aren't pro. They'll just never dress for games. Probably they'll end up being like it'll end up being kind of like an NFL model where they practice and all that stuff. But when it comes to Saturdays, they don't dress ever,
Yeah,
which is kind of a shame. But you would have to put them on the active roster type situation like that. I think that's where we're headed.
more than likely.
I think it'll benefit FCS though, because like a lot of walk-ons, they have FCS and Division two offers.
Yeah, we got to
So,
get away from this whole "do you want a bus" type deal. If it's me, and I have the opportunity to go to a Georgia Southern or a Kennesaw or, Tulane or a Troy, I'm going to take that, than go and walk on somewhere.
Yeah. Some
I
people
never,
don't.
I never really understood that unless I just really, really love the university. And, I just kind of want to go there and be a student. Um, if I
But the
really
thing
want to play football, then I'm going to go to the school that offered me the scholarship to go play football.
because they want me to play.
Yeah, not just so I can have a picture that says, "Hey, I signed with Georgia as a preferred walk-on." No, I'm going to go to this school that has offered me a scholarship and a free education.
Yeah. So what if it's Central Arkansas?
You're still on TV.
Yeah. And guess what? I know there's less than 1% chance of you going to the NFL, but if you're good enough, guess what?
You're going to go.
You're going to go because the NFL pays very, very handsomely these guys called scouts that travel. They have territories and they visit every college in that territory. They know everything about every college in their territory. They're very,
Yeah,
very, very diligent, very detailed,
exactly.
and you're going to be found. And if you're good enough, you're going to get invited to that pro day at Georgia or Ohio State or UCLA or wherever, whatever college you're near, whatever major university you are close by. Like Georgia, I know they offered some, they offered some pro day spots to like guys from Kennesaw or Georgia State or actually probably Georgia Tech to Georgia State, but like, the schools that aren't big enough to host a pro day. A lot of times these big colleges will, like LSU, be like, hey, any of you directional schools, come on down. You can be a part of our pro day if you're, and it's usually just like 3 or 4 guys, but
That's big. That's huge.
yeah. And so like you shouldn't pass up on scholarships for that. And unless you just really want to go to the university. And I can't fault you there. Like if you really just want to go to Georgia Tech and major in engineering and walk onto the football team, like more power to you. I just hope you don't regret passing up that scholarship to Elon.
Mm-hmm.
Do so. But then again, everybody's entitled to their own decisions and decision making. I would have probably chosen Elon in that scenario because it's free.
Yeah, and I want to play football.
And I want to play and attend college for free.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been my thought process. I can't speak for everybody, but that would have been my thought process.
That's me all day. Tell my
go where they want you, man.
Go where they want you.
Like we have so many kids that like turn their nose up at like a Carson Newman offer, which it's a great school, expensive, and if they can get a good financial aid package at the D2 level, they have to get creative with that stuff. But if they can get a good financial aid package, I tell them, dude, it's a great school, great program. You're gonna do well there. You should go. They're like, no, I'm holding out for D1. Dude, you're a senior. If you hadn't heard from a D1 school by now, you ain't gonna hear from them.
Look, if they ain't coming by in their helicopter to come and see you, you're just not that guy, pal.
No, and you better take that other offer and hope you can portal out of there if you really want to.
There you go.
Even that's not guaranteed, but
go there and ball. You might get seen out the portal.
Yeah, I think with the emergence of the transfer portal, I think walk-ons will probably dwindle a little bit anyway, just with that. Regardless of any restrictions. I think you're going to see guys, I can go to Southeast Missouri State and then portal to Illinois, that kind of thing. Like Vandy took the portal guy out of Eastern Washington, all conference corner.
See?
Like it happens. Like those guys can ball out.
Go there and ball. That's it. Mm-hmm. Go there and ball.
Go there and ball. Let's see what else. What else did we miss? We didn't really miss this, but it just happened. They're talking about doing injury reports, like NFL style injury reports, where like you have to publish your injury report and then you have to like submit the official one 2 hours before kickoff. They're kicking that idea around.
I don't like it.
Why?
I don't like it. because it's
versus what they do now, which is nothing.
no. I mean, you pretty much know. Well, you know if somebody's going to play or not. You know what I mean? It's pretty much common knowledge. You know, just think about this. All right, here it is. Ladd McConkey last year missed what two games down the stretch.
Uh-huh.
You know, you see him during warm-ups, you're like, he may play, kind of look at him. You got scouts that go up there in the box and watch, you know, pregame and things like that, kind of see how they move. You know, we know he's not playing. You know what I mean? So I know in the NFL it's kind of their protocol and things like that, but I mean, college is just like high school. You know, you kind of know the guy got hurt and he ain't playing this week. You know what I mean? I don't think you have to submit an official document that says, what if he's fine when he wakes up in the morning? You submit that he's not going to play.
If you know, these NFL coaches have learned to just list everybody as probable, and then downgrade them to questionable 2 hours before the game. You know, they take them out. You know, they take them out the morning of, like right before the reports due, and they work them out and say, "Yeah, you're not playing."
Yeah, but these are also grown men who don't have to. In college, you know, you got to keep up with grades and all this stuff, and you know, discipline and all that things. You're not worried about an injury report.
I don't think it changes much, though. I don't think it really I think the only thing it really changes for is gambling.
Yeah, for those guys, which you should not do in the facility or at all.
Yeah, don't do it in the facility for sure. But yeah, if you're a fan and you want to jump on FanDuel, yeah, go for it. I think it's stupid that you can't FanDuel in Georgia, but you can FanDuel across the border in Florida and across the border in Tennessee.
It's crazy.
Or you can bet online. Actually, I should have said bet online, but sorry, bet online. If you were listening to that, disregard my FanDueling. Yeah, you can't betonline.ag at where you're at. But if you drive 45 minutes, you can get all the betonline.ag you want.
Wait, did they take it out of Georgia?
Gambling's illegal in Georgia. You can't gamble. You can't sportsbook, can you?
Yeah, I can get on BetOnline.
I guess because it's .ag, maybe.
Possibly.
It's a different domain.
Yeah. And,
I know you can't FanDuel in Georgia. You can't FanDuel in Florida either, I don't think.
And they sponsor our show, so I mean,
yeah,
it'd be kind of frowned upon if I couldn't at least get on there.
Yeah, that'd be kind of a bummer. Oh, I guess you can betonline.ag in Georgia. Never mind. So don't do it in the facility, guys. Don't do that. Don't Pete Rose yourself.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. This is not really a college thing, but do you like that new NFL kickoff rule?
I do like the NFL kickoff rule. It's the one where they kind of line up and then kick it off, right?
Yeah, they line up like 30 yards away, like 5 yards apart.
I like that rule.
In a straight line.
Yeah, I like it.
You got 10 guys. You got a kicker and a returner.
Yeah, man. Hey, just make your block, bro. Just get in the way. Get in the way. I'll make it happen from back here.
Yeah, they're trying to. I love what they're trying to do. They're trying to actually bring back returns.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people, like the people that hated it, were like, I hate this. They're taking out real football. What are we going to do now? Play with flags? No, you're bringing back returns. It's your typical. It's basically Oklahoma.
Yeah, I haven't seen a true kickoff return since Devin Hester in Super Bowl.
Yeah, like what?
A true, legit, just kickoff return. Everybody set it up. Yeah. I haven't seen one of those. You see punt return stuff all the time, but a true kickoff return I have not seen since Super Bowl Devin Hester. And
it's going to be more punitive for a touchback.
Yeah, that was like what 2000 what?
6,
something like that.
6, yeah, 6.
That's how long it's been. 18 years
since we've seen a really good kickoff return.
Yeah.
Or since we've seen kickoff return really just be truly a thing. But onside kicks are essentially going away. Like there's not going to be onside kicks, which those were stupid anyway, because you can't do it. Like they legislated the onside kick right on out a long time ago because all the stuff that gave you advantages with the onside kick. But I think if you onside kick, I really like what the UFL does or what the XFL did. I don't know if they do it in the UFL. I haven't seen anybody do it. where if you're going to onside kick it, you get 4th and 15 from a certain spot, and if you convert,
and if you get it, you keep the ball.
Yeah,
I like that rule.
Yeah, that would be cool. But I think you're going to see that trickle down into college real quickly. The new
I
kickoffs.
think the closer the game can get to the NFL without us playing flag football in full equipment, I think the better it's going to be for me.
Yeah. I like the kickoff thing. You're taking down some of the overt violence, but you're bringing back a very important play with that. I do like that. I do like that touchbacks now take you out to the 30, so kickers won't be so enticed to kick it out of the back of the end zone and say, "Let's go."
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm just looking forward to we get this whole targeting thing figured out too. Let's start.
I think you can in the NFL now. You can challenge roughing the passer and all that stuff. I think you can challenge it now.
Yeah, it's basically just like practice now. Don't touch him. Just push him. You can push him down, literally. But that's it. Like, don't hug him. Don't form tackle him. Just grab him and just push him down.
Yeah, it's funny. Some of the things are like, yeah. I guess here's how you tackle the quarterback, and they run up and like cuddle him and like
lay him down.
Put a pillow under him and blanket.
I've seen those. And just like, here you go. Just lay down.
Just right here. Yeah, those are funny. But well, dude, we're gonna get into the weekend here, man. Georgia's hosting the regional. They're kicking ass. Before we get out of here, we got to talk about that. They have a really nice road to the Super Regional and maybe even to the College World Series, where they're matched up with either South Carolina or NC State, which I think is going to be South Carolina coming out of that. Georgia having Georgia Tech, Army, and UNC Wilmington in their regional, which I think is a really good draw for them. They could really, really make some noise, and that's exciting, man. Georgia back in Omaha. I'm excited about that, man. 11 SEC teams are in the tournament.
This is awesome, and I think the fact that we're hosting it, Tanner Steins, who was there when I was there, I think he's the assistant AD with Josh right now. The greenhouse behind the stadium, they kind of fixed that thing up, so you can actually see the game now, which is awesome. I think it's really cool. I think we can really do some things, stay within ourselves, obviously. I think the SEC championship game was a little bit too big for us at the moment, from watching the game. But that experience also gets you ready to host this regional right now too. So you're back at home. You're not having to travel. So your routine kind of stays the same as it would if it was a regular game. So I'm excited for our guys. I just hope we come out and play like we did kind of down the middle ways of this stretch that we were going on, because we kind of lost our bats toward the end. So it's just important to make sure that we keep the main thing, guys. You're a really, really good football. I'm not football, good baseball team. You know what I mean? And you've shown that. You've shown you can play with the big dogs. I mean, you swept South Carolina. I mean, you've swept the Tennessees, or you've won series against South Carolina. You've done the things that we know you can do. Now it's time to put belt to ass, as they would say, and make a run in this thing. And with the way that baseball is now, you just never know. You know what I mean? The top teams are getting beat left and right. I mean, who would have thought that Tennessee wasn't going to make it last year?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then, so you never know.
If you play your game, and do the little things right, I think Georgia has a really good chance of making it to Omaha. I think they have a really good chance. In 2008 when we went, nobody expected that.
No.
You know what I mean? So there's a really good chance that we could be that team. We weren't special. We had Luke Gordon. They got Condon. So I mean, that's their hammer. You know what I mean? So you got a lot of guys that play their role. So that's it, man. Just go out there and just have fun with it, and let's show after year one that Cody Johnson has done a really, really good job with this baseball team.
Yeah, absolutely, and he has tremendously. And for them to get to Omaha after what happened last season, where they weren't hardly anything, would be amazing.
Yep. And just think how far we've come in 1 year. You know, just think how much better we're about to get. You always have the draft to worry about as well. We're getting high profile players, but at the same time, if we can, keep these guys in school, um, you know, we got some really, really good talent coming. I mean, the kid from Kell is absolutely phenomenal. He played quarterback for him. I mean, you talking about can play some baseball. The kid can play some baseball.
Yeah.
So I've seen him in person. So if we can recruit well, have a good showing, at the end of this season, um, we're going to get those big time names, the big time guys coming in Athens, and we're really about to make some noise. I think year 2 and especially year 3, under this new regime.
Yeah, no doubt. So tune into that Friday. I think it kicks off against Army. Army is the number 4 seed there. Georgia Tech, the 3 seed. UNC Wilmington, the 2 seed. So that'll be an interesting regional. So stay tuned for that. And with that, we're going to get out of here. We hope you have a great weekend. And educators, I hope you're off to enjoying your summer. If you're working this summer in a side hustle like me, because I'm just a glutton for punishment, I guess, make sure you have fun doing that and making that extra money. So with that being said, Israel, we'll catch you back here next week, man, and we'll holler at you, and hopefully everything goes well now that you're settled into your new house, and now that you and Casper have become friends and all that good stuff. Casper's your dog now, so we'll get after it, man. But we'll see you back here next week. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.